Hello, you gruesome bastards, and welcome to your eternal damnation. I mean my so-called show. Last year, I gave you 10 scary bastards to haunt your dreams, as well as your waking days. And since I had so much fun unleashing more terror on you than a lead role from Jared Leto in another franchise, I thought I'd gift you with 10 more scary bastards. They're not ranked in order, and none will be characters from books, except for their movie, TV, and game adaptations. So creepy, spider ladies and cannibalistic gentlemen, this is Scary Bastards 2, another 10 of them.
Would you show me your hands, please? Sir? Your hands. I think they could be cleaner.
Of course, sir. I washed them, but...
After every meal and under your fingernails, dirt gets trapped there, and germs, and mayonnaise.
Mayor Wilkins. Played to perfection by Harry Groening, Mayor Wilkins is the politician I would happily vote for. Sorry, not sorry, Starmer. Why not? He's charming, friendly, affable, punctual, organised, professional, and always makes you feel welcome. Even though he's an evil nutjob who sold his soul and helped build the Hellmouth, but he is always on the pulse when it comes to the well-being of his citizens.
Call Dave on the Public Works Committee tomorrow about sewer maintenance and repair.
He can say the most white bread lines, yet he never loses that sense of menace.
Okie doke. I've got 2 words that are gonna make all the pain go away. Miniature. Golf.
Even when he's trying to bring about evil or doing something evil, he is very businesslike, and credit to Groening for being as bland and dweeby as possible to make this character so threatening, because it is the evil lurking underneath the smile that is so much more sinister, and you can tell Groening was enjoying every single moment he was playing this charming arsehole. He's another big bad that always adds to the overarching plot of every Buffy season, but he also seems to be the most human, with the exception of Dark Willow. There's a tragedy to him that makes him sympathetic.
I married my Edna May in '03, and I was with her right until the end. Not a pretty picture. Wrinkled and senile and cursing me for my youth. Wasn't our happiest time.
And I really love his relationship with Faith.
No father could be prouder.
In fact, he's a surprisingly good father figure. It would have been so easy to make him some sleazy psycho manipulating a hot young thing to do his bidding, but he and Eliza Dushku sell the surrogate father and daughter relationship, and I just adore seeing these two together. Even when she does try it on with him, he tells her he doesn't think of her that way.
Thanks, Sugar Daddy.
Now, Faith, I don't find that sort of thing amusing. I'm a family man.
Oh my god, a villain that doesn't exploit young girls, is an honest politician, goes out of his way to maintain utilities in his town while trying to summon demons, and is the nicest man you could ever meet, and yet he's still shit scary? How does that work? It shouldn't work, but somehow it does. Yeah, he loses his intimidation factor when he becomes a big CGI demon penis thingy. Oh my. But Harry Groening, God bless you for playing one of the best TV villains, because Mayor Wilkins is one scary fucker that definitely deserves your vote.
Right now, I bet you're feeling very much alone. But you're never alone. You'll always have me. And you'll always have this. Go ahead, open the box. Don't worry, it's not gonna bite. That's my job.
Mom? What are you doing here in the middle of the night?
You're just in time for supper, dear.
Voiced by Terry Hatcher, the Bedlam is up there with the likes of Judge Doom, that head-severing bitch from Return to Oz, and all the other crazy bastards that had kids wetting their itchy boxes.
That was scary. playing the kind and caring perfect mother in order to steal the souls of naive children. She's cunning enough to exploit the ego of a child, desperately craving praise and unconditional love. Patient enough to slowly gain that child's trust, and ruthless enough to toss that child aside in order to move on to the next child. I've already established how messed up her true appearance is, the way she resembles a spider, always out to catch kids in her little web in order to feed off them. And much like Anne from Misery, she's at her creepiest when she's being sweet, caring and hospitable, because you know sooner or later she's gonna turn, and when she does it won't be pretty. She's also a metaphor of the old "don't talk to strangers" warning, because there are people out there who will happily exploit kids before robbing them of their innocence. Even when she starts to show her true form, she never loses that calm, caring voice, which makes her even more intimidating, because it shows she's still in control over the situation and has you by the balls. Seductive, cunning and predatory, the Bedlam is one scary mother.
You may come out when you've learned to be a loving daughter.
Played by Malcolm McDowell, it's no surprise that Alex has gone down as one of the more disturbing portrayals ever committed to film, and what makes his character more disturbing is how charismatic and larger than life he is, but also how fucking young he is. He admires the beauty of poetry and classical music, but seems to feel nothing towards the people he hurts. When he shows up ready to indulge in the old ultra-violent, he will make sure you remember it. He sees human suffering as entertainment, and is willing to make his victims part of his sick show. Like this scene where he starts dancing and singing to Singing in the Rain while he beats up an old man before raping his wife. Even though you never see him commit the atrocity, it's still unsettling to watch. Not only that, he's the main character you are forced to sympathise with. Yeah, a violent nutjob with no loyalty to his friends, no empathy to the people he harms. He's a vehicle used to highlight how important freedom of choice is and shouldn't be taken away by force, while also highlighting how the more civilized people can resort to being just as nasty and biased and ruthless as Alex is when given the chance. Even when he comes across as remorseful, you're never sure if he means it or if he's being manipulative, which makes his last lines at the end come across both ambiguous and disturbing.
I was cured, all right.
Articulate, charismatic and sadistic, Alex is one crazy milk-drinking teen with ultra-violent methods that work like a clockwork orange.
This is the story of Dracula, a creature who destroys all whom he touches.
Played by the one and only legend Christopher Lee, Dracula is the goat of the vampires. Sorry, Edward Cullen. There's been other versions of the character before, and many more after, but Christopher Lee's may be the far more scariest, exuding charm to hide his violent nature, before revealing his more animalistic tendencies. He may have less dialogue and less screen time than most Draculas, but to my opinion, that's what makes him so intimidating. His presence is always felt. He doesn't need dialogue, his actions say more than words ever could. He doesn't change into wolves or bats like in the book and other versions, but that doesn't stop him from being a genuine threat. All he needs to do is stand there, and be there, not be there, and still keep you on edge. As for the other actors, well, Max Schreck? No, this Max Schreck is the original. Bela Lugosi the most iconic, Langella the coolest, Oldman the most romantic, but Christopher Lee is the more mysterious as well as the best. Cold, animalistic and seductive, snacking on big-titted lovelies before discarding her for another like some undead pimp. This is one badass Prince of Darkness that, despite his lack of screen time, still packs a lot of bite.
Are they calling these Gemini killings in the papers? You must get them to do that, Lieutenant. It's important.
The Gemini is dead.
No, I am not! I'm alive! I go on! I breathe! Look at me! Look at me! And tell me what you see!
Played by two different actors, the Gemini Killer is the spirit of a sadistic serial killer played by Brad Dourif, who was executed but managed to possess the body of Father Karras, who had taken a few too missteps around the same time as his execution.
Okay.
Yes, it's a bit convenient, but it doesn't take away the impact of both performances. Miller does a great job in both roles, pulling off playing Brad Dourif playing the Gemini Killer. No easy feat, but still he manages to be both chilling and haunting.
I do that rather well, don't you think?
But when you finally see the Gemini Killer himself, we get more and more into what a sick and twisted mind this man really has. He's the type of sicko who finds beauty in pain and suffering, yet at the same time he's very thorough, methodical, showing great care in the violence he inflicts. The scene where he describes how he can do such horrific acts in such a pristine manner is probably one of the more disturbing moments you can listen to. More disturbing than actually seeing the act, because you're automatically filling your head with the disturbing images that he describes. And let's not forget this intense pants-shitting moment.
The main thing is the torment of your friend, Father Karras, as he watches while I rip and cut and mutilate the innocent, his friends, and again and again. And on and on! He is inside with us! He will never get away! His pain won't end!
A terrifying character played by two very talented actors. The Gemini Killer is one crazy spirit you wouldn't want possessing you.
A few boos from the gallery, I see.
I'm letting you leave, Earle. That's so you can tell everybody you've seen what takes place here.
Played by Gian Maria Volante, Indio is an unapologetic psychopath, quick on the draw, clever, and ruthless enough to kill a fucking infant.
I know. I'm sure you hate me just enough.
Jesus.
He's charismatic enough to gain the loyalty of other killers willing to be led by him, but after robbing the Bank of El Paso, he shows just how unstable he really is, playing his own men off against each other as his own greed starts to consume him. There's something so chilling about the way he looks at people. There's a coldness but also an instinctual paranoia, like he's trying to figure you out, yet also seems to be haunted by an event involving a woman who unalived herself when he tried to grape her. It's never explained if he feels remorse or is traumatized by the event, or why he keeps the locket he stole from her, or why he uses the charms from the locket whenever his intention is to kill. All we know is the less we know, the more disturbing he comes across. He can figure you out with a glance, yet he's a total enigma himself. He's a cackling, intelligent, mentally unstable, bloodthirsty bandit, and once those charms start ringing, you better pray those charms aren't playing for you.
I'm looking for a murderer.
Played by the always awesome Christopher Lloyd, Doom is the corrupt psychopathic judge of Toontown, with a real hatred towards Toons, and pretty much the reason kids had nightmares for quite a while. When he's first introduced, the dude is already creepy, but it's the scene where he unnecessarily melts an animated shoe that showed what a ruthless fuck this guy was. The gaunt appearance, the bleached teeth, the Gestapo getup, the fact that his cape always blows whenever he's indoors as if a gust of wind follows him, you know something is off just by looking at him. Even when he comes off a little comedic, he's bloody creepy. He knows how Toons think. He knows the perfect bait to lull them out, he's remorseless, and is also untouchable. And when his true self is revealed, holy shit.
Remember me, Eddie? When I killed your brother, I talked.
Nightmare Fuel is a fucking understatement. Even with that high-pitched voice and exaggerated manner, he's shit scary. On paper it sounds comical, but somehow it manages to be downright fucking terrifying. Whatever trope considered endearing about what we like about our favourite animated characters, Doom turns them into something nasty and ugly. And worse, he practically runs the entire town of the very thing he hates, and even more worse, he can do whatever he likes with no repercussions. Funny, twisted and psychotic, Judge Doom may be animated, but he's certainly no Mickey or Bugs.
This is how we handle things down in Toontown. I think you of all people would appreciate that.
Played by Anthony Hopkins, Hannibal Lecter is smart, articulate, sophisticated, and the best you can get at helping you track down the most deranged killers, mostly because he is one himself. I mean, nothing too serious, except the odd bit of cannibalism.
What?
But hey, at least he does it tastefully. But what also makes him scary is, even behind a cell you're still not safe because the moment he looks at you, he's already analysed everything he needs to push your buttons.
And how is young Josh and the lovely Molly? They're always in my thoughts, you know.
Do you know what you look like to me with your good bag and your cheap shoes? You look like a rube. A well-scrubbed, hustling rube with a little taste. Good nutrition's given you some length of bone, but you're not more than one generation from poor white trash, are you, Agent Starling?
But at the same time, you know sooner or later you're going to need him, and that you'll have to sit and interact with him, knowing you'll suffer the feeling of inadequacy and inferiority. I love the moment you first see him when he's just stood there waiting patiently with that cold stare. He knows the inner workings of people, yet there's no real humanity in him.
Tell me, Senator, did you nurse Catherine yourself?
What?
Did you breastfeed her?
Now, wait a minute. Yes, I did.
Toughened your nipples, didn't it?
I also like how his feelings towards Clarice Starling and Will Graham are the complete opposite. With Starling, he seems to be affectionate towards her, but with Graham, he has nothing but contempt towards him and is willing to hurt him in every way, showing that someone who loves you or hates you can both be equally threatening. He's intelligent, perceptive, sadistic, and definitely one cannibal you do not want to dine with.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner. Bye.
Excuse me, sir. I'm looking for a job. In fact, I've made up my mind to find a career that I can learn and grow into. Who am I? I'm a hard worker. I set high goals, and I've been told that I'm persistent.
Played by Jake Gyllenhaal, Lou is one detestable piece of shit of a psychopath. Starting off stealing anything he can make a profit of, he suddenly discovers he can make a better living filming horrific scenes of violence and selling them to whatever news outlets will hire him for his work. Just watching him work is both disturbing and fascinating. Even at his most humble beginnings, he never slacks off, and he takes what he's doing seriously. And he will not quit until he's at the top of his profession, even if it means cutting the brakes on a rival's car, tampering and holding back evidence.
I can understand why you're looking into it, but I didn't do anything like that. Nothing that could be considered wrong.
You don't fool me for a minute.
I'm glad.
Or staging events for cops and his intern to get killed.
What a wanker.
And one of the more disturbing things about him is, he is very relatable.
Really?
He's the more twisted version of the underdog reaching for the stars, except he doesn't care who he has to step over to reach that star. To him, everybody is a means to an end. He's charming, but it's a charm that feels phoned in to help him blend in. Every time he speaks, he sounds like a cliche, like he thinks everybody wants to hear, further establishing how manipulative and alien he is to everybody else. But despite his cold nature, he is smart and he does work hard. He's professional enough to admit his failings and improve his skills, which only makes him more dangerous. It's a chilling, realistic performance that grips you to the point you almost cheer him on, even though you can't help but be disgusted by him also. Lou is the perfect reflection of a world corrupted by superficiality, apathy and ruthless ambition. And thanks to Jake Gyllenhaal's intense performance and downright creepy smile, this is one scary bastard that will be crawling into your mind on that sleepless night.
You know, the lads had this ridiculous idea that...
Yeah, it was me.
Oh, it was? Thought so.
Played by Paddy Considine, Richard is a former soldier who has returned home to seek revenge on the drug dealers that bullied and humiliated his mentally disabled brother. And what makes Richard such an intimidating presence is he's a man with nothing to lose. And when you've crossed a man with nothing to lose, you know you're fucked. Richard is angry, fearless, out for blood, but he's also smart, resourceful, able to outsmart the average man, resorting to intimidation. Bullying them the way they bullied his brother, making them regret the day they messed with his brother. Even when gang leader Sonny confronts him, Richard lets it know he has them by the balls.
You're making me very nervous, Richard.
Well, you should be.
If I were you, I'd get in that fucking car and I'd get out of here, man. I'd gather them goonies and get whatever you've got and come at me. Because I'm gonna fucking hit you all. You're fucking there, mate.
Even when he's not on screen, you know he's lurking around, waiting for the right moment to pick you off. He's a man full of regret. He's not just exacting revenge on the people who wronged him, but also exacting revenge on himself for seeing his brother as a burden and not being there for him.
Was he calling for me? When you were torturing him, was he calling for me?
No boat out.
He still is.
Oh, no ocean.
And there's nothing scarier than being stalked by a guilt-ridden man you've wronged, especially one that's trained to kill. Richard is smart, tough, knows how to reduce you to a fear-stricken mess, and when he has someone in his sights, you definitely don't want to be in that dead man's shoes.
No, I'm the monster.
Ooh, the pure menace coming off these gruesome bastards is too much. Join me next week for my final Halloween special.